Hello and welcome to another playthrough of the Assassin's Creed board game by Triton Noir. Today we're going to be playing mission 0.3, that's one of the training missions that begins the game. Poor Little Templars is the name of the mission. I'll run through the background and the story behind the mission, and then we will discuss where we are at the moment, what characters we're running today, and then we'll get into the game. This is the first page of the campaign book that describes the mission we've got to play today. Let's start with the introduction. Thanks to us, Ezio was able to approach Cesare and is facing him right now on the fortress walls. If we take advantage of the general confusion, we will deprive the Templars of precious resources. We must choose to go either to Cesare Borgia's apartments to steal one of his personal items, or to the armory to steal equipment. If we are perfectly coordinated, we may even be able to do both, but it might be hazardous. The setup is then pictured below. This mission is the first one where we'll be playing the enemy phase in full. On the previous missions it's been a sort of very heavily simplified enemy phase, so presumably it'll be a lot more challenging in terms of the enemies. In the envelope for the mission we have a tower card, as a tower tile is depicted on the map, so obviously we will have an opportunity to unlock that secret objective and get whatever's associated with that. There are two main objectives for the mission, and we can choose to complete either one or both. The first one is to steal a personal item from Cesare Borgia's personal apartments in the top right hand corner of the map, and the second one, which requires 2 action cubes, is to help yourself to an item from the armory, which is on the far left of the map. There is also a 100% sync achievement which we can put on our campaign roster sheet, which is to eliminate 1 or more guards with the hidden blade upgrade. So there we go. Now let's discuss who we're bringing with us on the mission today. We'll be running 2 assassins today. We are running Claudio, who from our previous missions is in full health and has a common sword, a hidden blade, some throwing knives, and in his equipment pouches a parachute and a smoke bomb. We're also running Daria, who from the previous missions again has full health and is equipped with, similar to Claudio, she's equipped with a common sword, a hidden blade, throwing knives. In her pouch she's got another parachute and also a town crier upgrade or piece of equipment that can be used to reset the alarm state once per game. She's also wearing a piece of armour which boosts her health up to 4, the Roman armour. And those are the 2 assassins we will be playing with today. So with the board set up and the assassins ready, let's go and play the game. Right, let's go on with turn 1. First thing we need to do is flip our event card, Dead End. During this turn, one assassin can remove 1 ladder placed on their square for 0 action cubes. I think probably we should remove this ladder. Could remove this one as well, but it makes more sense probably to get rid of this one. Yeah. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, let's go with this one. So first thing we will do is use Daria. She will go 1 action, 0 action cubes to remove that, 2 action cubes, 3 action cubes. She has a special ability: once per turn, give back an action cube to one assassin or to yourself who used all of their action cubes on the map and who stayed on your map and stayed incognito during the turn. So she could now gain an extra action to roll with her throwing knives and see if we can kill this guy on this objective. Let's try and get ahead of the game. She does kill the guy on the objective, so we now have a body in that square. Next thing we will do, I think, is we will just bring up Claudio to reinforce, because this is the first time we're playing with reinforcements, and I've got a feeling that the enemies are pretty going to swarm us. So he's going to go, I mean, we could sink the tower, but I think we were better off sticking together. One, should we go to the tower? Two, action cube to go to the top of the tower. Let's do that. Then we play the enemy phase. So first thing we do is draw a reinforcement card. We're in green, so what we get for our reinforcement card is an agile at A, 2 crossbows at B, ugh, that's bad, and a crossbow at D, sits on this objective. So first thing we need to do is a detection test for these two guys here, and we get detected, which flips that to red and puts one of these red bases on Daria and basically lights everything up. So that's potentially a problem. Next we do movement. So this guy's out of action. These guys don't move because they're in the square with Daria. This guy does move, and the event card tells us he moves north. These guys don't move because they're on an objective. Then we do enemy attacks. So these two guys both attack Daria. And we get miss and miss. So that's good. A bit of good news. Right. That, I think, concludes turn 2. 1. Right, let's get straight into turn 2. First thing that we'll get from turn 2 is Whistle, which is the event. During this turn, one time only, one incognito assassin can use one action to whistle and attract a guard located on a nearby square, excluding their own square. The guard moves to the assassin square and is eliminated without performing a detection test. Well, that's not going to help much. I think we need to go with Daria, who needs to take out these 2 crossbowmen and try and get that objective. So the first thing we'll do is, we're already in an alarm state, so we can't make it any worse. She'll go with her common sword, 2 dice, and we get the retaliate and the assassin special action. So the special action is one guard on a targeted square moves back to a nearby square of my choice. And I believe I do a damage as well. Yeah, so, okay. So I kill one, and then I can push one back, but then the retaliate kicks in, which means that this guy rolls an attack on me, and actually does a damage, taking me down by 1 health. Okay, that could have been worse. Second action is to move to this square, which means I leave my base there. Third action cube, let's get the objective before things go south. So we'll reveal that objective to experience. Now we have Claudio. So Claudio should, because it's at the top of the tower, reveal the tower card, which when we flip it over shows us that there is a chest in play at the following location. So it's got a chest out. The next thing that we need to do is jump down Leap of Faith for 0 action cubes. But unfortunately, because of this guy, we need to make a detection test with the alert state on, and we get detected. Well, it's all going great. Let's put a red base on him. So that was 1 to sink the tower, 0 to jump down to the leap of faith. We need to kill this guy. We're already red, so let's go for an attack. We get 2 wounds, so he's definitely dead. And then our third action, do we go with the chest? Do we head towards the objective? Jeez Louise. We still haven't killed anybody with our hidden blade, so let's go. Yeah, we do need to move. Let's move here with our last action. So yeah, 1 to sink the tower, that's 0, that's 1, that's 1. Right, now then, enemy phase, we flip the reinforcement card. So we're in red, so we get 2 crossbows at A. We get an agile at B. We get 2 crossbows at C. And then we get a crossbow at D. That's filling up nicely. Great. Movement happens. These guys... Oh, because we placed guards here, we need to make a detection test against poor old Daria. And she's well and truly detected. Actually, we better leave that in play because that's going to affect movement. So she's well and truly detected. And the next thing that we do is guard movement. So these guys don't move because they can't move. The card says more north, but they can't move north because they're on objective and because they go off the map. This guy is agile, doesn't move because he's got one of these in his square, I believe. Let's just check the rules on movement for that. It does not move if they're on a square containing 1 or more red bases. Yep, so he doesn't move because of the red base. These guys don't move because they're on an objective. He's out of action. These guys do move north, and this guy moves north. He's moving from rooftop to rooftop. And that is that. So attacks, we have an exposed assassin here with 4. He can't attack because he doesn't have a ranged attack. This guy can attack Daria, these 2 guys can attack Daria. So she's got 3 1 dice attacks coming in. And she takes 2 to have 3. Holy cow, Daria's nearly out of action. Okay then, that's not good. And then at the end of the turn, we remove these bases because they're not attached to assassins, and that is a brutal turn 2. Right, let's do the brutal turn 3 of this awful mission. First thing that we need to do, as of every turn, is to flip an event card. Ladro. Immediately roll 1 defense dice for each of your assassins. For each success, a thief steals equipment card of the player's choice from the assassin's board. Affected players can use 1 cube to recover this card, otherwise discard it. Well, let's go with poor old Claudio. He doesn't have anything nicked. And now Daria. Daria does get something stolen. Parachute. I can't imagine she's going to be using it. Oh, maybe she can. Okay. Do you know what? Do you know what? Let's that's difficult. If I give up an action cube, see, one thing I was thinking is she could spend an action to move here, then use the parachute to move to another roof. And just go here, effectively put herself in harm's way. Let's try and kill these guys. But then what do I lose? Do I lose the town crier? It allows me to turn down the alarm status, but am I ever going to have a chance? Or do I just let my weapon go? I will lose it for good. Do you know what? Let's let the guy take my sword, and we'll see what happens. So that's that resolved. Now we have the assassins. Let's go with Daria first. So Daria will move here. Now the hunt rule kicks in because she's leaving square with enemies. So whenever an exposed assassin leaves a square containing one or more enemies, they're immediately hunted by half of them, rounding up. As long as the assassin is hunted, they cannot be incognito. The enemies stop the hunt as long as they can no longer move. The guard does not move if he's on an objective square or a base, objective space, or a square with a one or more red. Okay, so actually those guys don't come after me, which is a bonus. And then if I spend my remaining 2 action cubes, I can actually use my parachute to go here. I could kill a guy, but there's no guy to kill, so that effectively uses my parachute. So we'll put that in the equipment discard. Gosh, she's beat up. And now without sword. She can't use... we won't be able to use her special ability on Dario if everything goes fine. So Dario can open the chest, which draws us off the chest deck a Cavaliere mace. If your attack eliminates 2 guards, eliminate 1 more guard on the target square. It's no more effective than the sword, but it can kill multiple opponents. Or I like the pushback ability on the sword, so I'm just going to put that in my equipment bag for now. I'm not going to try and equip it again because that would cost her an action. I think what I'm going to do is spend an action cube to move in here and take the chance on the detection test, or do I just go 2, 3? That could be a thing to do, rather than just get into a fight for no good reason. Still haven't killed anybody with a hidden blade though, which if we want that 100% sync, we're going to have to do. So yeah, let's do that. 1 action to open the chest, 2 action cubes, 3 action cubes. And Daria's ability, once per turn, give back an action cube to an assassin or to yourself who used all of their action cubes on your map and who stayed incognito since the beginning of his turn, or this turn. So, shall we give him an action cube to let him move to the roof? How about that? That looks pretty good. And about as good as we can get. So next we do the horrible enemy phase. Let's reinforce, because you know what? Things aren't bad enough as they are. We need agiles. We need an agile at A, an agile at B. We've got to remember we can only have 4 models per square, and we have 3 crossbows at C. Well, we can't get 3, but we can place 2, and the reason for that is you discard bodies when you can't place miniatures. So basically that goes up to 4. We can't place the third because that would be 5 models in a square. And then D gets 2 more, but there's already 3 there, so the worst it can get is 1. So we do that, however. Next we look at movement. The movement is actually south. So these guys don't move because they're on the objective. This guy moves south, which pushes this body away, because it takes it to 4 models. Oh, actually I should have done movement towards red bases. So these guys can't move up the roof. That guy could move, so he does, which is fine. Then we're doing the movement programming. These guys can't move south because the wall blocks them. These guys can move south and do. This guy does not move south because he's blocked by the map. And these 3 guys can all move south, but there's a red base here, so they don't move. I believe is the correct programming. So at the end of the turn, there are no enemy attacks to make, and we actually discard that. So that's it. Alert state. Now then. That actually does end turn 3, so that was a bit of a recovery. Let's go on to turn 4. Right, let's get into turn 4. First thing we do, as in every turn, is to flip an event. Evade. During this turn, for each of their attacks, the assassins can ignore and re-roll 1 wound dice that has rolled a retaliate, so it makes our attacks more effective. During this turn, each time we attack, the assassins can ignore and re-roll a single retaliate. Okay, this could be good going into the mess that is this thing. So we try and get our second objective. Oh, I need to get that silent kill, but Darius is so vulnerable. Right. I guess the first thing that we need to do is, what's the movement programming north? The first thing that we need to do is yeah, okay, we're just gonna go ham. So Claudio does have a smoke bomb. Okay, no, let's just be simple and direct. Let's go in. Let's go in and take our chances. So 4 dice for the detection test. Hey, it's definitely detection. Great. So that's the first. Now the second is we attack with our sword. 4, and we can re-roll 1 retaliate per attack. 2, killing 2 of these guys. So it's 2 out of action. And do you know what we're going to do? We're going to spend our third action on our smoke bomb, target a nearby square, and I think we can target our own square with nearby. Any exposed assassin or ally on that square becomes incognito. the red base stays on the background. And then we can use his ability once per turn. If you are incognito, use your hidden blade for 0, which kills another guy. And doesn't trigger a detection test. And that is Claudio's 3 actions. So Daria will use the Town Crier. Town Crier. If spend 1 action cube, if there are no exposed assassins or allies on this map, Town Crier changes alert to green and removes all rings from the map. Okay. She'll then spend her second action to move and then do a detection test of 1 dice. Oh, you're joking me. And it just goes straight back. Game, really game. And her third action had better be to actually, let's do this a different way. Let's, because she's lost her sword, let's do a throwing knives before we move. See if we can kill the guy. So let's take it a step back. So we've got a chance to kill this guy with our throwing knives. We do, which kills him. That was our, so Town Crier, 1 action cube. Second action cube, throwing knife. Third action cube, move. And she's now been entirely incognito her entire turn, so we get an extra action cube. I suppose the best thing to do is spend an action cube to hide all of the bodies, because we can, and then we can flip over 4 cards from the equipment deck, or we can stop at any point. So let's give that a go. We gain a parachute. Let's push our luck. Investigation, no. Okay, stop searching on 1 crossbowman on a nearby square. There isn't any. Okay, there isn't a crossbowman on a nearby square, because the only nearby square is that. But we do get to no longer find anything. But she did get a parachute, so hey, that's fine. And we cleared all the bodies. So, you know, cool. Just pray to God the next reinforcement card has nothing on D, and we might actually complete the scenario without dying. So that's a good recovery. Now we're on to the bad enemy phase. Let's reinforce, just see how bad things can get. Now the good news is we're green, so we get a crossbow at A, which doesn't take us over our 4 model limit. We get an agile at B, which would take us over our 4 model limit, so the agile does not appear. We would get a crossbow at C, which does not take us over our limit, so we do in fact get one of those. And we haven't been unable to place miniatures yet, so that's good. Next, models move, so the movement direction is north on evade, which is our event card for this turn. So top row, these guys can't move north, A because they're on objective, B because they go off the map. These guys cannot move north because that square is already completely full. These guys can all move north, which is horrible. And that's it. Nobody else is there, and that does discard this body, however, doesn't it? Because we've got a 4 model limit. So that's the end of turn 4. Right, let's get into turn 5. We've got a good chance here. Let's do it. Please be a good event. Shadow. During this turn, ignore the first detection test we are asked to make. So let us go with Claudio. No, let's go with Daria. So Daria will spend 2 actions to do that objective, secure the armory, having already done Cesare Borgia's apartment objective, and then we will spend 1 action cube to move. Now she's remained incognito for an entire turn, so I could give her an extra action cube, but I'm not sure what she would do with it, other than move into here, which puts us closer to the end. So we will just leave that as that. So 2 and 1. Now then, Claudio can go 1, parachute for 3, and then gain an extra 1 from Claudia 4. That does burn my parachute, but it gets me very close to exiting the map. Then we know that the direction of movement is north on the event card. I will have enemies coming on this square, however. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I don't want to do that. Tell you what I can do. Here's a thought. We will use Daria's ability not to move Claudio 1, but we'll use it to restore a cube, which we will then carry over and save, so that Daria gets 4 cubes next turn. How about that? So, that's the assassin's phase done. We need to reinforce on green, which is 2 at A. Ooh, that could have been a good call. And 1 at B, which is already full, so we don't spawn anything at B. We then move. Can't move north. Can't move north. Can move north. So they do. Can move north, so they do. And then nobody else. So we are now, that's it. That was a very quick turn, or it seemed it, and we didn't even need to ignore a detection test. So there, turn 5 is done. Here we are coming into turn 6 of what's been a real close to the wire game. Daria's managed to get hammered to 1 health and lose her weapon, but we're not out, and the event cards and the reinforcement cards have really helped us. To be fair, changing this alert status back to sort of green or safe has really helped. So let's do the event card first and hope it's not an awful one. Full moon. At the end of the assassin phase, any assassin or ally on a roof is subjected to a detection test with 1 die. So we don't want to be on a roof at the end of detection, at the end of the assassin's phase. Note, place a yellow exclamation mark token on the enemy reinforcement deck as a reminder. Okay then, game. Your wish is our command. It's a good little piece of advice. I like it. Gameplay. So, can we get off? I think we just get out of here. We got the chest off the tower. We've killed somebody with our hidden blade. We've scored both objectives. So Claudio can go 1, 2, and then use the travel station for 3. Right, and Daria, can burn her parachute that she found on that dead body, which
couldn't have come at a better time, frankly, to travel to this roof and go, that's 2, that's 3, and then because she's got her special ability, once per turn, give back an action cube to an... Oh no, she saved an action cube from last turn, I remember. Now we can use her special ability to give an action cube back, and she can use it on the fast travel station. So we have both made it off alive. Wow. That was brutal. Yeah, now that we're playing with the enemy phase in full, it changes the whole dynamic of the game. Things are a lot more aggressive, and it's much more difficult to be stealthy with the board. I mean, rolling these 4 dice detection tests when you walk into areas to fight guys, wow, it's hard, really hard. Still, that was a quick finish. The event deck didn't really help as much, but that was good. So there we go. The end of turn 6, we have completed Memory 0.3. Let's just wrap things up. Okay, so we're doing the wrap up, having finished mission 0.3. Cesare Borgia is dead. He fell from the castle walls while fighting Ezio. Had we not been helping, Ezio might have been in great danger. Take the reward cards in envelope 0.3 and check each card's back to learn how you can reveal them, then decide how to allocate them amongst the assassins. So we've got both of them we've got the 2 reward cards here. Both simply state reveal this card after completing one says after completing the armory objective, which we did, and after completing Cesare Borgia's apartments objective, which we did. So we now have some more Roman armour, one of which we already have on Daria, so now we can give that to Claudio. And we've got the Borgia cape, 1 cape max per assassin, for 0 action cubes after each guard detection test, where only 1 detection die would make you exposed. Ignore it and roll again. If it is still exposed, you become exposed. So basically, for free, after any detection test where we only roll a single detect, we can re-roll that, and it's any dice that would make us exposed. So either the eye and so either that result, or in the case of the alert status is red, that result. Okay, so that's cool. Total the XP of the completed objectives and collected chest tokens, then write this down under Memory 0.3 in the Diary of Memories. Update the new tier total in the experience track. So if you've completed 100% sync, place a sticker under Memory 0.3 in the Diary of Memories. So we got our chest token, which gave us 1 experience. We had the Cesare Borgia apartment objective, which we scored, which gave us 2 experience. And the armory objective, which gave us 3 experience. So we got a total of 6 experience and these 2 upgrades. So that was a pretty good mission. So then we retreat to the villa and regain strength and prepare for the next memory. So that concludes Memory 0.3.